They called the Void Serpent unstoppable. Then a human rode it into battle. The Galactic Council's war room fell silent as the holographic display flickered to life, showing the nightmare that had terrorized 17 star systems. The Void. Serpent writhed through space like a living shadow, its kilometer-long body pulsing with dark energy that seemed to devour light itself. Entire fleets had vanished into its maw, their final transmissions cut short by screams that haunted even the most hardened military commanders. 63 ships lost in the Andromeda sector, reported Admiral Krexith, his mandibles clicking, with nervous tension. The beast grows stronger with each vessel it consumes. Our quantum torpedoes merely tickle its hide. The assembled delegates, representatives from dozens of species spanning the galaxy, shifted uneasily. The crystalline ethereals chimed in harmonic distress, while the gas cloud nebulons condensed into tighter formations. Even the proud Draconian Empire, with their legendary battle prowess, had retreated from the Serpent's path of destruction. Perhaps we should consider evacuation protocols, suggested Counselor Veltara, her blue skin paling to an almost translucent shade. Our analysis suggests the creature feeds on technology itself. Every ship we send only makes it stronger. A slow clap echoed through the chamber. All heads turned toward the human delegation, where Captain Sarah Chen stood with an infuriating smile on her face. The other species had grown accustomed to humanity's bizarre reactions to impossible situations, but even by their standards, this seemed inappropriate. You find our predicament amusing, human? Admiral Krexith's voice carried, the weight of barely contained fury. Sarah shook her head, dark hair catching the light from the holo display. Not amusing, Admiral, familiar. You see, my species has a long history with things others called unstoppable. She gestured to the writhing mass of darkness on the screen. On Earth, we had creatures we thought were gods, leviathans that could swallow ships whole, storms that lasted for weeks, predators that had ruled unchallenged for millions of years. Her smile widened. We rode them too. The council erupted in a cacophony of protests and disbelief. Counselor Veltara's translator struggled to keep up with the rapid-fire exchanges, but Sarah simply raised her hand for silence. I'm not talking about riding in the sense you're thinking, she continued. Though if we're being honest, my ancestors did try that with everything from wild horses to great white sharks. I'm talking about understanding the beast, learning its patterns, finding its weakness and turning it into our greatest weapon. Admiral Krex leaned forward, his compound eyes focusing intently on the human. Explain. The Serpent feeds on energy, correct? Specifically, the quantum signatures of our technology. But what if instead of fighting it, we gave it exactly what it wanted? The holographic display shifted as Sarah accessed her personal files. Images of Earth's history filled the air. Humans taming wolves, breaking wild mustangs, training dolphins, and even riding whales in ancient times. Every predator has a pattern, every beast has needs. You've been treating the Void Serpent like a force of nature, but it's not. It's a living creature, and living creatures can be understood, predicted, and ultimately partnered with. Partnered. The word came from a dozen translators simultaneously, creating an eerie echo. My ship, the Defiant, has been modified with a special quantum signature generator. Instead of weapons, we've loaded it with enough raw energy to feed a small star. The Serpent will be drawn to it like a moth to flame. She paused, letting the implication sink in. And when it comes to feed, I'll be waiting inside with a neural interface headset. The council chamber exploded in protests. Delegate after delegate stood to voice their objections, calling the plan everything from suicidal to insane. But Sarah had expected this reaction. Humans were used to other species questioning their sanity. The interface isn't designed to control the creature, she explained once the noise died down. It's designed to communicate with it. Every creature, no matter how alien, has some form of consciousness. If I can establish a link, show it that we're not just prey, maybe we can redirect its hunger toward something more productive. 3 days later, the Defiant drifted alone in the void, its energy signature blazing like a beacon. Sarah sat in the pilot's seat, neural interface crown gleaming on her forehead, watching the sensors as they detected the approaching shadow. Control. This is Chen. The Serpent has taken the bait. Beginning approach sequence. The creature emerged from the darkness like a living nightmare, its massive form undulating through space with impossible grace. As it drew closer, Sarah could see the way space itself seemed to bend around its passage, reality warping in its wake. Easy. Beautiful, she whispered, her hands steady on the controls, despite her racing heart. I'm not here to hurt you. The Serpent's maw opened, revealing rows of teeth that gleamed like collapsed stars. Instead of fleeing, Sarah flew her ship directly toward the opening. The neural interface activated the moment the Defiant crossed the creature's event horizon. Pain lanced through Sarah's mind as alien consciousness crashed against her own. Vast, ancient, and utterly alone. The Serpent wasn't malicious. It was starving, desperate, and had been wandering the void for eons without finding adequate sustenance. Hunger. The creature's thoughts whispered into her mind. Always hunger. Small things come, small energy, never enough. I know. Sarah projected back, her consciousness merging with something far older than human civilization. But what if I could show you where to find real food? What if we could help each other? Images flowed between them. The Serpent's memories of empty space and sparse meals, Sarah's knowledge of energy-rich phenomena scattered across the galaxy. Dying stars, quantum storms, dimensional rifts that leaked power from other realities. The creature's surprise rippled through their connection. You would help, not fight. We're both hunters, Sarah replied. But hunters work better together. What followed would be remembered in galactic history as the Battle of Kepler's Gate, though calling it a battle was somewhat misleading. The pirate fleet that had been terrorizing the outer colonies never stood a chance. They saw a single human ship approaching and prepared to add another victory to their collection. Then the Void Serpent materialized from the darkness behind Sarah's ship, but this time it moved with purpose and intelligence rather than mindless hunger. Pirates scattered as the creature carved through their formation, but instead of devouring their ships randomly, it targeted their weapon systems with surgical precision. Sarah rode in the Serpent's consciousness, their minds linked in a partnership that transcended species. Through their connection, she could guide the creature's movements while it shared its vast sensory perception of space-time itself. This is impossible, came Admiral Krexith's voice over the communication channel. The human is actually controlling it. Not controlling, Sarah corrected, her voice carrying an otherworldly echo from the neural link. Cooperating. There's a difference. The pirate fleet was neutralized within minutes, their crews taken prisoner rather than consumed. As the Serpent fed on the pirates' abandoned weapons and power cores, Sarah felt its contentment through their bond, finally a meal worthy of its vast appetite. In the months that followed, the partnership between humanity and the Void Serpent revolutionized galactic security. Pirates learned to fear the darkness between stars, knowing that their crimes would attract the attention of the creature that had once been their greatest terror. Other species watched in amazement and growing respect as humans demonstrated once again their uncanny ability to turn the impossible into the inevitable. They had taken something that was considered an unstoppable force of nature and transformed it into an ally. But perhaps most remarkably, they had done it not through conquest or domination, but through understanding and partnership. The Void Serpent was no longer a monster lurking in the dark. It was a guardian with Sarah Chen as its first rider, protector of the space lanes and living proof that sometimes the most dangerous creatures make the most powerful friends. As Sarah often told young cadets at the academy, humans have been riding dangerous things since before we learned to walk upright. We just got better at picking our mounts.